Yes, sir. First round aptitude and debugging.
How many of you cleared?
Results are
Result.
not yet out, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay. In continuation of the yesterday session, menus. There are two types of menus: option menu and context menu. So menu is nothing but additional extra actions that you can perform on a current context, either a text or image. So we have seen the in the last class we have seen about the context menu. Sorry, options menu. Options menu can be if suppose if you want to modify the application to display the options, you can select the three line button menu. You can select click on that. It will going to display the number of list of item. Among that you can select one among them, depends on your requirement. Exactly, it is similar to here that these are all called as menu. So for example, if you click on the insert option in this presentation, the options which is available for the insertion is these many. Either you can insert table, picture, clipboard, screen, etc. and so on. Now, come to the context. Suppose if you select an image on a PPT, the context related means this image related. Sir, sir, close my mouth, sir. Thank you. So this image related context, it is going to be appeared. If you double click on that, corresponding image related features is going to be appear here, right? So context menu is another type of that. Context is depending on the context. If you double click on the image or the text content, so the corresponding context menu which will appear. So the event which listens to double click is set on create context menu listener method which will be invoked. A context menu is usually associated with a view on an activity and is displayed when the user taps and holds an item. Just now we have seen when I tap this one, if you think of this is a text view, when you tap that one, text related menu is going to be appear here. What and all the features you can perform on this text. Suppose if you change the color of that, you can change, right? All these things which appears depending on the context is which you are going to select here. For example, if the user taps on a button view, suppose if you tap a file, if it is a file, if you click on this file, the file related only it is going to be enabled here, right? If the user taps on a button view and holds it for a few seconds, a context menu can be displayed. You can experiment yourself by looking into your mobile phone. So, so open any of this one, click and hold down the corresponding menu, it will appear. If you want to associate a context menu with a view of an activity, you need to call the set on create context menu listener. Suppose you are building an application, for example, blind guide. If suppose if you are developing an application for the blind people, it will provide the guidance to them. So if they press the uh, key of or touch screen of a particular space, so corresponding message, the guidance it will give that such kind of guidance, if it is giving, means you require to implement some of the touch listener, because depending on the touch screen it is providing the guidance to that person. In that case you need to call the on click listener, or on click listener interface you need to implement. To write the context menu, to create the context menu, you are defining the GUI using linear layout, text view, text view, and one button view. So click and hold on it on a button. The corresponding it will appear onto text view. Means you are binding this text view with the button. When you click and hold on it, on a button, first you need to identify the button. When you click and hold, button set on create context menu listener is set. Set on create context menu listener will be called when you click and hold the button. So depending on the context, either it is a text context or image context or the camera context or the audio context or video context, depending on that corresponding context, the menu is going to be appear onto a screen for the selection of the user input. So on create context menu, which will have the three information. One is menu, current context, view, which view you pressed. If it is button view, button, text view, text, audio, audio, video, video. So view type and view type, context menu information is going to be displayed. These are the three parameter on create context menu. Super current context on create context menu, which will call with the menu option and view option and menu information. So here it will call corresponding to the view. Create menu will be called. So what is the create menu? Create menu is going to create a menu list depending on the context you have selected. Then boolean on create options menu, it will get display whether the options is available, more than one option is available, it is going to be listed all the options of that menu. Then on options select item selected, you need to define that depending on your selection of the item from the available context list, that is going to be apply onto the current context. Menu choice you need to define, menu choice you need to define call, and menu choice you need to define which item you have selected from that available menu list. Go for example, you suppose edit is the menu. I'll take one example of this. Yeah, edit is the menu. These are all the options available. So based on the movement of your cursor, the pointer, mouse pointer, the corresponding item it is going to be activated, right? When you click on that particular, that is going to be listen and trigger the corresponding method of action, right? In the same way, on an activity, if you are created a menu, if you want to define a menu, you need to create the menu and you push the options of the items in that menu, and also you are required to handle the selection which is selected by the user. Sometimes some menu options required to make use of the shortcuts to speed of access of those menu. For example, if you press Alt AIT, it is going to create a table. Alt AIT, which will create the table in an Word. Alt AIT, which will switches from home to animations. So Alt is just observe here. When I press Alt alternate key, the shortcut value it is appearing is P. Here S O M A C A T etc. and so on. So these are all called as shortcut letters. If you press Alt C, it will go to the animation panel. If you press Alt P, it will go to the preview panel, right? So sometimes it's required to have the shortcut keys. Sometimes some menus won't work with the menu items. To enable the shortcut keys, you need to call the set QWERTY mode. Set QWERTY mode. So method of the menu object like this. For example, private create menu. You are creating the menu and also you are setting that menu with set QWERTY mode. So QWERTY mode is going to set the shortcut keys for shortcut alphabet for the menu list items. Menu list. So how to set that one? You pass it as a true boolean value. Once you are going to set for the shortcut for it. Then menu item menu equal to menu dot add the corresponding item 1. Then menu 1 dot set alphabetic shortcut A. This A is setting for the menu 1 item, and icon you are setting for the menu 1 item is IC launcher item. Default icon is there for the IC launcher that you are going to set for this menu 1. Okay, understood. Now, analog clock and digital clock views. We have seen so far text views and image views and the menu views. Autocomplete text view, picker views we have seen so far. Now we are going to learn the analog clock and digital clock views. So analog clock is continuously changing the time it is going to display like your normal wall clocks. Whereas the digital clock is digit wise, hour, minutes, seconds in a digital fashion it is going to display. Both views display the system time only. Both are using system. Now the system time is 11:06 a.m. So both you makes use of the system time to display the time, minutes and the seconds. Do not allow you to display a particular time such as the current time in another time zone. So based on the settings of your system setting of the time or the date setting, the corresponding value is going to be displayed. Suppose if you want to display the time for a particular region. Now our region is Kolkata, Delhi. That region time is going to display. Suppose if you want to display for US, then you need to build your own custom time view, analog clock view or digital clock view. For example, for example, clock view. clock view. This is analog clock view. Below bottom of that analog clock view is digital view also there. You can build the clocks. First you can create the view for it and bind that to a system date and time. Now this is the simple code to bind your digital analog and digital code. So linear layout to bind the analog, another analog clock view can be used. To bind the digital clock can be used. By directly using these two, these two functionalities supported directly onto a Android activity. You need not to much worry about this digital clock. Digitally, it is displaying onto a activity. Suppose if you are building a canteen bill to fetch the date and time, you can use the Java code for Java class file as a date and convert it as a string format, and you can fetch and you can use. Or if just wants to for the display check of you, just define the digital clock or analog clock. The another type of the view is web view. Another type of the view is web view. So many views we have seen. All are important to design with the basic function, basic application. So web view is another view. Suppose rather than designing an application just for an activity or the application of the mobile, suppose you want to switch from mobile application to the website or the web application, or from web application to the mobile application. This is called as context switching. So to support the web view, you require to define the web view in your activity. Suppose the web view enables you to embed a web browser in your activity. So this is very useful if your application needs to embed some web content such as maps from some other providers and so on. If any external content you want to put onto an activity like web content, you are required to define the web view. So look into the code of WebView. First, define the WebView content. First, define the WebView content, WebView, and define how it is visible onto an activity. Wrap content. It is going to be fitted, flexible, and you are binding this web view for the browser which you are going to use. So to define to bind that web view, you need to have the web settings. The web view ID is web view 1. You are identifying that by find view by ID, or that web view 1. You are binding it to WV, and web settings are required. Web setting class needs to define you are obtaining retrieving the web setting information on that web view by invoking get settings method. Then this web setting you are binding that set built in zoom controls. Suppose you want to zoom in and zoom out the options. If you want to allow the user zoom in the web and zoom out the web, you need to set the built-in zoom controls as true. Then load URL, the corresponding URL of that Google chart.apis.google.com. This website is going to be loaded and on as a web view in an activity. So to allow all this, you need to provide some of the permissions. The permissions are needed here. Users SDK, minimum SDK is 14 API. Users permission, Android permission is internet. To embed the URL onto an activity, that URL comes from the internet. If you are allowing the internet, and as well as the which ADK SDK version, which SDK version, that should be minimum SDK version, that kind of facility should be supported. You need to explicitly define the both the permission in the manifest Android manifest.xml file. Then okay, this is about the web view. Not only the Google map, you can insert any of the web content onto an activity. Then this is the one simple example. This is the one simple example to see an activity of WebView activity. Observe here. This is a. These are the two devices. This is horizontal orientation and this is vertical orientation. In the horizontal orientation, you are embedding the chart of some external application and embedding in your app as a web view. Here one more thing, the external website is going to be embedded in a current activity. Means just you are referencing the external site by allowing the internet and specifying the SDK version. So the content of that web view is going to be fitted here. Observe right portion and bottom portion is left out. So it depends on how you are defining that, how to insert into. Means zoom out option is used here. If you zoom in, enlarge version of this content, it is going to be displayed. So another few examples of web view. See here, when you zoom in, enlarge version of that web page is displaying here. So here, this is a one another example for web view. This is the another example for web view. This is horizontal orientation. This is vertical. The same content, how it is going to be displayed in the vertical orientation as well as horizontal orientation. It is appearing here, and the code which defined for the web activities used here. So the another example for web activity. See, observe when you go with vertical, the since in the vertical the space is more compared to this, In that case, invisible content is visible in the vertical. In case of horizontal, the visible content is going to be hidden with the help of anchoring. What we have seen in the last few classes, the anchoring is going to use the edges of the screen and hides the additional item which is not which will not be visible to the user. Okay. Let us look into the web view, one more text content of the web view. Web view again. Yeah. So web view, find by view by ID. You can also dynamically formulate an HTML string and load it into the web view using the load data with base URL method. Load data with base URL method helpful to load the HTML content onto an activity. So web view identified by web view 1. MIME type you need to explicitly specify either text or HTML. How you are writing in the web technology code, script to type equal to text or HTML, and in HTML, the same way you need to define explicitly the MIME type and the font style encoding style format and string HTML. You need to define that tag which is going to be display the content onto an web view. You are defining everything as a string because you are using the logical code as a Java code. Java supports the string, right? So now you are invoking web view by invoking load data with base URL, HTML, MIME type, and encoding. This is the empty strings you need to pass along with this. Okay. So similarly for another example, for that again load URL. If you want to load the file, you can specify like this. Dynamic content, use the load data with base URL. If you want to load the HTML file located in the current system, project folder, then you can use load URL and path of the file. Suppose C colon etc. and so on. This file is going to be loaded. So another example for that is if you want to replace the current context from the another, then you can use this should override URL loading. You need to pass this one. Suppose already one in an activity already one web view content is there. Now you want to load the second one. That should replace the previous one to load the next new one. To allow that such kind of the thing, you need to define this should override URL loading. If it is returns false means it will refresh the current page, otherwise it allowed to load the new page. Is there any questions? Any questions? If you want to ask any questions, you unmute and talk to me. Otherwise, mute your microphone. Some additional sound is coming. Okay. This is 1 minute. Displaying maps. Displaying maps onto an activity. So first understand, suppose if you are developing any of the mobile application, is it necessary to have a map? Again, it is depends on the type of the application. Suppose if you want to guide the travelers across the globe, then in that case, maps are very much useful. During earlier days, if we go for tourist places, most of the time we stopping our vehicle and asking someone where this road goes, how to reach a particular destination. Now nowadays we are not asking any of the person who on the road. Rather than we are using the built-in maps which is available with the mobile phone. See, nowadays Google providing lots of abundance information about a particular travel routes. So such kind of applications needs the Google Map. So another application, suppose if your friend is inviting you to, yeah, come back and meet me this weekend to my house, we'll go together so and so. If he or she calls, then obviously we're asking, hey, share your location, I will come to your destination, right? So all these facilities which is provided by your mobile phone. So now we are going to learn how to display the Google Maps or the locations using your mobile phones. See, Google Maps is one of the many applications bundled with the Android platform. So how much made easy to the end user the Google is that so much of complexity is running behind the scene. Mapping itself needs the GUI, graphical kind of content needs to be displayed in a small window. That is also a challenging to handle and display such kind of the uh, uh, content. It needs a lots of efforts behind the scene. So the behind the scene efforts which is bundled as an APIs, application programming interfaces, lots many classes, lot many methods, lot many actions, lot many event listeners needs to be bundled to make it simply plug and play application. Nowadays, we are not going to build the maps from scratch. Rather than that, just we are requesting for the Google to provide the API key for to integrate that maps onto our application, right? That is enough nowadays to integrate those maps. So if there are several maps types are there, among that Google Map is the number one in this world of mobile technology, right? In addition to simply using the maps application, you can also embed it into your own applications and make it do some very cool things. Obviously, no, not required to stop and inquire about the particular route. That is a safety threat also. To avoid that, you can make use of Google Maps. Programmatically, you can perform the following by using Google Maps. What and all you can perform? Change the views of Google Maps. Satellite view is there, geolocation view is there, right? So geolocation view, it shows the how it look like geographically, whether it is a hill station or it is a river or it is a ocean or it is a forest. Geographically it will show. In satellite view, distant view, how it look like, appropriately it is going to be displayed, right? So nowadays most of the studies happening through geolocation and as well as satellite maps, right? Obtain the latitude and longitude of locations in Google Maps. Especially nowadays, the most of the students are concentrating on accident-free roads. Accident-free roads. There, to avoid the accident, they are calculating the current vehicle location and the accident another vehicle location based on the speed acceleration of the vehicle which is running fast, very fast compared to another. All these calculation happens based on the Google Maps. They extract the latitude and longitude of the location to identify is there any facility of the water is available, is there any hospital is available, is there any police station is available, or nearest medical shop is available for emergency care, etc. and so on. All these are so this Google Map help us to makes life easier. So performing geocoding and reverse geocoding, that is translating an address to latitude and longitude and vice versa. So through that, nowadays even policemen also using to trace out the thieves who is escaping after doing some wrong things in the society. They are tracing through their mobile location. Through the mobile they are calculating like how long he is from the theft place, etc. and so on. So this kind of the thing is used in even crime investigations also. And add markers to Google Map. For example, today is a weekend. You are adding, yes, I want to go for Nandi Hills. So you are marking that place. Suppose a later point of time, if you want, you need not to search again and again. Just you open the marker list and select the marker list. It will take you to that particular map, right? It is similar to a bookmark of your web pages in the websites. So these are all the some of the operations you can perform onto a Google Map. Even you can zoom in and zoom out. You can locate a village also nowadays, remote villages also through the Google Map. So in order to use Google Maps in your Android application, you need to ensure that you check the Google APIs as your build target. This is very important thing you need to understand as a developer. Google APIs are needed. because APIs involves lot of classes, packages, and the build methods to support for your ease of access of your application. So sometimes Google may expected to pay for commercial use. Sometimes for educational point of view, even they are also providing the open source APIs also. So very careful when you are using the APIs. So always buy the APIs from the vendors, safe vendors, because there is a possibility of entering the threat code also through the maps. So Google Maps is not part of the standard SDK. Google Map is apart from the SDK. So you need to find it in the Google's API add-on. Depending on the SDK version of your version of your Android, the corresponding APIs, Google APIs also will be available based on your usage of your application. The application is going to fit for the which type of the device. Depending on that, you can provide the you can use the flexible and customized Google APIs. To create the Google API project, you need to provide the maps.jar located under the Google APIs folder. So just obtaining the maps API key from Google. So to create that project, you require to include maps.jar folder, Java archive folder. So location based service, observe here, as usual linear layout is used to define an activity, and the another view is the map view you are defining, that is the map view which is referencing this namespace google com.google.android.maps. Under that map view was defined. So that map view you are using for your current of an activity, you need to explicitly specify the key API key. So this is the one API key, it was used in the textbook or somewhere it is taken from net source. So you will cross verify yourself about the API key. API key is the unique key which is provided by the Google when you register with that Google website. Right, you need to specify the map view where you have taken from that map view, and you need to explicitly specify API key. And also some of the additional attributes enable is true and clickable, means event generation. If you made it as false, it won't allow you to edit. You can make it as true. And in addition to the providing of that key API key, you need to provide the permissions. Some permissions is needed, which minimum SDK version supported for map and the internet usage. That because Google Map needs the internet uses. The code is taken from net learn to develop.lbs, location based services. Then in addition to that, you need to use as a library of com.google.android.maps. So these are the three additional lines are required to embed the Google Maps in your activity. This is mentioned, these permission lines are mentioned in the manifest, Android manifest.xml file. And the GUI layout design is done through this com.google.android.maps.map view, and by specifying the API key and the attributes enabled true and clickable is true. Now, so you need to import the corresponding packages. You need to import the corresponding packages from the map activity. Google.maps.map activity corresponding packages is required to import, and the class location based service activity is a customized class. You need to extend this class for the map activity, and the map activity which will have the on create, the default activity is going to be created and called the main method, and boolean is route displayed. This is the one single method I used here, so several methods which will be present, you can override them according to your requirement. Is route displayed to do something, return first, right? So this is the outline of the location based service which uses the Google Map. So you can see location based service. So it is a tab. It is a tab. How it look like? You can do some of the operations on it. Which are the operations you can perform on this map? You can zoom in and zoom out. Even you can search for a particular location using the virtual keyboard, etc. and so on. This is the one Google Map view which was used earlier. So displaying the zoom control, you are displaying the zoom control, zoom in and zoom out options are defined under the map controller class. Here observe here in this keyboard option, it is allowed to zoom in and zoom out. Here zoom in option is there. When you press on that, it increases the size. Again, when you repress, it releases the size. Zoom out. So to do that, zoom in and zoom out actions on that. Zoom in and zoom out action perform on that. You require to define the set built-in zoom controls as true. So map view, binding this map view on what you are on what you want to apply the zoom. So you need to bind that view, and map view dot set built-in zoom controls, made it as true, then remaining is same. So when you set it as true, it appears onto a enabled zoom option is enabled, then it allow you to zoom in or zoom out the map. Changing views, as I said, satellite view and geolocation view. By default, Google Maps is displayed in map view, which is basically drawings of streets and places of interest. So another view is satellite view using set satellite method of the map view. Satellite view is distant view. A whole world geographical status can be viewed, whereas the geo view based on the interest of streets and places. You can keenly you can observe the streets and places using the geo location view. This is the one example you can see here. How to set the satellite view. See, observe here. The set built-in zoom controls true. After setting that one, map view you are going to set satellite view is true. Set satellite view is true. Suppose if you want to know about the traffic condition of a particular road, then you can set traffic as a true. For the map view, built-in zoom controls, zoom in, zoom out allowed. To view the map from satellite, set to true. To see the traffic of that particular view, set traffic is true. See how much the Google made us easy to use the map view, Google map view in our activity. And some bookmark content. See, observe the bookmark content. You can observe here green, yellow paths, red paths. Red paths represents a traffic is more. Yellow path is medium, and the green path is almost you can go a little fast. So you can check the traffic condition through the different colors. So green equates to smooth traffic about 50 miles per hour. So yellow is medium speed, you can move on the roads. Red tells that there is a traffic congestion. So you can avoid the roads. Through the Google map, you can see the traffic. So you can set using set traffic true. By setting that one, it will provide the support of displaying the roads and their traffic according to the different colors. Navigation to a specific location. Navigating to a specific location, you can navigate from your sitting place itself. You can find how long I am staying away from the hometown. You can locate how many number of kilometers, what are the different roads, alternative roads. All those things it is possible to you with the help of this Google map. So one among that animate to method is invoked. Animate method to invoke to see the animated effect of the roads. For example, one vehicle is started now from the home, so it is moving. That movement also is going to be visible in this Google map view. The best example is taxi services. Uber, Ola, they are using this navigation view method views. So if you disable that, you can just call the invalidate method of that map view. Okay. So adding markers. Okay. We'll continue the remaining subtitles of displaying maps in the next class. Let me know if any questions are there too specific to this class. And only few assignment copies have received. I'm expected all of you to submit the assignment. Today assignment mass is going to be finalized for first assignment. So before 9 o'clock in the evening, you require to submit the assignment. First assignment, that is designing the insurance proposal form. So most of you, what you have submitted is partial insurance form. So a proposal form, insurance proposal form involves the type, age of the person who is going to insure, taking the insured, right? Most of you have given is just name, father name, husband name, address, phone number, email. Then you submit. You are given a title as insurance form. It is a registration form what you have given. Insurance proposal form, different type of the insurances available. All such complex form actually, that is by designing that one. If you have started coding the insurance form, insurance proposal form, yeah, you will be perfect in designing any kind of the application of similar type, right? That's why I was given as a assignment for you. So be prepared, clearly go through the some of the insurance advisors. You can ask them and extract the information. Based on that, you do the designing of it. Just so whatever I have seen 4 to 5 assignments submitted, just copy of one of your friend and paste it. Who has the original, I don't know, because all having the same content and even same placement of the images, etc. and so on. So don't copy paste your assignment. You try to do yourself some exercise. You will get lot of time. Nowadays you will get lot of time to do all the things, because no traveling time, no waiting time, no rush hour time. Everything it will come to your on table only, even including food, right? So prepare well, practice well, do well, ask, interact with the outside world through over the phone. Don't go physically, over the phone, then collect the information. Based on that, do good designing of that insurance proposal form. Okay, fine. Thank you. If anything else is there, you can let me know. Answer your attendance.